Good morning. Good morning. It's a beautiful day. We're actually starting out at 62 here in the Pacific Northwest. In the Olympic Peninsula, the mountains with the snow are still sitting out there as the sun comes up off the 180 degrees from there. And that's about it. But I thought I would come on here just to touch base. Being a happy Mother's Day coming up. Let me turn down the classical music in case that's getting over. Been listening to a lot of that lately. Enjoying Franz Liszt more. Let me say it that way. Mozart, Franz Liszt. Who's the other one? Anyway, yeah. Makes for a great commute. Cuts down my road rage, which, there's a lot. I'll say it that way. And it's not all just a person who gets angry. There's a reason why we need to get angry sometimes. There's a lot of clueless people out there that are driving around. And whether it's driving so slow that you create problems behind you and backups, could be because you're camping. And I don't care if you're going over the speed limit or what, but the whole point is that if a person comes up behind you, pull over. Get over in the other lane. There, that's all I'm going to say about it. There's a lot of people that don't see, I don't know what they're seeing, to tell you the truth. There's a lot of people that don't even see reality for reality, which is kind of scary. You know, I follow politics for the sake of understanding and for the sake of not being blindsided by stupidity. And I hear them go on debates, and we'll say like the gun rights and stuff like that. And I get the Second Amendment, and I get that there's people being killed, and I get that they say that it could be that there's a mental problem, and I get that there's guns, that there's a lot of them, and maybe they shouldn't be making, these modernistic Gatling guns for people to carry around. I get all that. And then when you get into these people that we've voted in, they act like they can only talk about one thing. And I'm looking and going, and I've yet to hear any one of them turn around and go, okay, that's fine. So yeah, you say it's a mental issue. Okay, that's fine. What are we doing about it? Hey, and while we're doing that, are we not capable of also passing gun laws? I mean, it's not that hard to juggle another ball when you're being asked to juggle them. You're being voted in to juggle them. Why not do both? It's not a if one thing or another. Hey, why not do both? Okay? Because obviously, if we're a divided nation, you're going to have to please more than one side. It's not that hard. I mean, it's not that hard in concept to come up with. It's going to take some pounding out. But hell, this is what you're in there for. And so I just am not understanding how people don't see that kind of reality. Power games, of course, obviously. You're seeing it all the time. Well, I'm sorry. If you have a person that's been in office for 30 years, I'm sorry, you're bound to have a person who is jealous of that power. And so that comes down to we the people. It's not the person's fault. It's like McConnell or any one of them that have been in there for a long time. Not their fault. It's the people who are voting them in. It's their fault that they don't have a broadened horizon in thinking, or that they're so complacent that they just check that box every few years rather than using their own brain. We still go back to we the people. And it's we the people that need to be turning around and really standing up. Not we the media, we the people. We need to be standing up and going, this isn't right. And I'm just one voice. And that's fine. You know. But I thought I'd put it out there. People need to start seeing reality. Quit looking at just one side of it. Stand in the middle of the road. Okay? If we're going somewhere and we're all on a road, then someone better be standing in the middle of it. Because if we're over to one side, we won't see exactly what's coming over on the other side of the road. And we're not supposed to be looking that way anyway. We're supposed to be looking down it or up it or however you want to allegory it. You want to see how we can better things for our country, for our kids, for our world. And right now, no one seems to be thinking along those terms in power. I don't get it. So, as I sit here and look at these big, beautiful mountains in front of me, and I get up this early to go to work, I will thank God for believing in me long enough to be able to be alive, believing in a population long enough to be able to see the James Webb Telescope. My God, Lord, what a universe. For me to believe and have the eyes to see toxicity and how we really have screwed up this planet. One last little note, I've got to put this out there. The planet is a very fragile unit. And I say unit because it's made up of so many different compounds. But let's get this straight. You got a magnetic core that spins in the center. You've got layers upon layers on the outside of that. You start removing certain little layers here and there, it's going to affect the balance. Anybody that drives a car and has ever had their tires balanced, there's a reason why they do that. Because if you just spin it slowly, okay, it looks fine. If you give it a fast spin and over time period, it wears thin on one side. Okay? There's a problem there. So, think of that as like the earth. You start taking, and we've taken so much out of her. It's only a matter of time before that counter begins. And I say that counter push, that counter friction of a spinning core that would fry us before we could blink. Mantles that are known to have pushed up hundreds, if not thousands of feet within one day. It can happen. We can sit there and say 5 million, 10 million, 650,000 years. I don't care. We can put a timeline when all this had happened before, or it may happen again. But we've screwed up. And she's fighting back. Volcanoes and all. Global warming and all. And yet, people don't see the reality of it. It's going to be horrible the day that it finally resets itself a little bit. It will reset itself. It's a spinning gyro in the universe. It's not going to blow apart. It's not going to just all of a sudden harden up like Mars or anything like that. And die out. It's still living, breathing very well. And I'll say it, it's the parasites on the outside that are screwing it up. And one of these days, she's going to correct herself. The more we start pulling out of her oil and stuff like that, we're screwed. We're just screwing ourselves. Plastics, we're just screwing ourselves. Just throwing it out there. It's Saturday. Happy Mother's Day tomorrow. Got nothing but love for everyone. And just doing my little part to impart whatever thoughts or wisdom or whatever you want to call it that I see. Nothing but love for everyone. Have a great day, rest of your week.